Hello, class. Dr. Janie here. I just wanted to touch base with you guys. We're going into Unit 4 this week, so we are running very quickly into the middle of the term, and we'll be finished before you know it. I know everyone is struggling and having a hard time, and I understand that. I'm going to encourage you to stay focused. Stay focused on your work because if you get behind, it's hard to catch up. And I understand that some of you are working a lot of hours, and I know what it's like to do that because, you guys know, I spent the last 22 years working in a hospital in administration, and I've been in the meetings where we played musical beds, and I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys are doing, trying to find beds, trying to find staffing, moving things around. I'm hearing things about local hospitals taking whole units and moving the med surge patients out. And in New Orleans, what they're going to do Monday, I think, they're taking over the Morial Convention Center and putting up a field hospital to try to offload some of the non-COVID patients into a different setting so that they can focus in the main hospitals like University Medical Center and Veterans Hospital on the COVID patients. So they're going to move like probably the lower level, not low level, lower level med surge patients, people like that. But with that being said, I'm thinking about you guys, and I know you're trying to work hard and stay with what we're doing here. So this week, what we're going to talk about is management and leadership. And I think this is the topic that everyone really catches, and they like talking about it because we all have experiences where we've had, and we started with the discussions in Unit 1, where we've had a manager who was not a good leader. And they have to blend together. It has to be like this, tightly woven together, so that they are able to task and focus on what needs to be done work-wise, but also do what we call maintenance, the interpersonal skills. So they have to come together. When you have a director or manager, I'm going to use the word director because that's what I'm accustomed to, manager, leader, who is too far this way on the people side, we call that country club management. If you have too far this way, they are just brutal to work for. And they tend to micromanage, and they are abusive and abrasive. And we call this toxic management. So there are some people who are toxic managers. There are some people who just don't care and are very laid back, and everybody gets over on them, and they know who they are. And it's really interesting that you would think it's just like a teacher. If you have a teacher that's too easy, you would think all the students would love them, but they don't, because they feel like they're not learning. Second, they feel like there's a lot of favoritism and that kind of stuff going on. And they don't feel like there's any value in their work. So you need to stay blended, both of them. And I've done assessments of my style. I tend to be in the middle because I can be very task driven, but I also try to maintain a good relationship with the people that I work with and do little things for them. Like I would buy, just out of the blue, because I felt like it. And I'm not really bragging about myself, but I'm just giving an example. I wouldn't tell them what I was doing, but I would order in McAllister's or something like that, just so that they would have a treat that day. Or I would say, okay, y'all go to the cafeteria, here's some money, go buy yourself some lunch. And, it helped build that relationship. We keep a candy bowl full of candy, and we'd all bring snacks in. So we'd have snacks in the kitchen, and it wasn't my snacks or your snacks, it was everybody's snacks. And if you saw the potato chip bin was running low, you brought potato chips. So it worked really well in that regard. And it helped build morale, because one of the things you want to look for in as a leader is engagement. And people fall on the spectrum, and there's a really great video, and I'm going to post the link during the week on YouTube. It's very simple. It shows 10 people in a boat, little cartoon characters, and 2 are fully engaged, and they're rowing as fast as they can, as hard as they can. 2 on the other end are taking buckets of water and putting them in the boat. And then you have 6 in the middle who are just kind of going along with the flow. So if they're with this person, they'll be engaged, but if they're with these people, they'll be over there also putting water in the boat. And what will eventually happen is these guys can't row fast enough for these guys who are sinking the boat, and the boat's going like that, and it will eventually sink. So engagement is important. People who are engaged tend to stay with the organization. They tend to give benefit of the doubt, and they tend to be more proactive in their work. People who are not engaged, and you guys have worked with them, and I know they annoy you to death. They're the people who are habitually late, complain about everything, nothing's ever good enough. They ride the clock, they sabotage, in a way. They think nothing of stealing supplies from the company because they feel like something's wrong. And this is really getting into a lot of management theory, but a lot of times it's because they feel like the psychological contract is broken. We all have a psychological contract with our organization. Some people have a physical contract, which I've never had, but you have a psychological contract where you expect something in return for what you give them, and they expect something in return for paying you or providing benefits. So it's that psychological contract. So when that contract is broken, when the person feels like the company didn't live up to their end of the bargain, they tend to become disengaged, and it goes down from there. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about that. Now, onto the task. I did the maintenance there. Let's do the task now. The task. I'm going to flip over to my screen, and I'll probably have all kinds of garbage on my screen like Facebook, but you guys bear with me. Okay, it's in Word. Okay, and I'm going to share it. This is the assignment for next week. It's a little different than I've had in the classes I've taught, and I wanted to make sure you guys understand, and I hope you're watching the videos, and I'm going to post a message about the videos. This midterm is a little different. You have 2 questions that you're going to answer. There were 25 points each. And it's really funny because it's very direct right there, and I'll have people that'll turn in the answer to 1 question. This is not an either or, it's a both. So we're 25 points each. You refer to the readings, use the library or the internet. Please don't use dictionary, please don't use Wikipedia, please don't use anything like that. Cite any information that you reword, restate, or quote according to APA guidelines. So if I'm going to pick up something, this has nothing to do with school. I'm going to read something. It's just, and if you want to know what it is, it's a schematic for a paper crafting item that I'm working on. Okay, I use solid white cardstock for all of these shapes. Okay, that's a pretty straightforward sentence. You could turn that around and paraphrase it to say, to build this house, the person should use solid white cardstock because it seems to work the best to hold the piece together. Okay, so you see how I just kind of reworded that? I didn't take it word for word. And that was a very simple sentence. Okay, important is to measure your knowledge of the lessons learned through class readings and resources within the units combined with your own research. Cutting and pasting from a resource is not allowed. I can tell when you cut and paste. I can tell by your wording because now I've been with you guys for 3 weeks now. I've read your discussion posts. I have an idea of the rhythm of your writing. We all have our own style. And when all of a sudden I start seeing very technical terms and words that you have not used in your writing, the style, the sentence structure, when you write a whole paragraph, that's 1 sentence, and your sentences up until now have been 4 or 5 words, I'm like, something's not right there. So don't cut and paste. Don't get yourself in that bind. You need to research a topic, and I'm going to say something about that. I have never had to turn in the Jefferson student for plagiarism. Congratulations to you guys. I am very impressed because in my history, I have had to deal with it, and I don't like it. You need to research a topic for full understanding and then present the information in your own words. Cutting and pasting from a source is plagiarism, what I just said, and you will result in 0 points for the question. Yeah, don't get in that bind. Academic responses from a source are to be paraphrased with proper citations. I think I just gave that sermon. Okay, so there's their words with my words. The sermon is over for that part. All right, so here are the essay questions. This is a Word document. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a big favor. Type directly into this document. So you'll see question number 1 when it talks about research and analyze, the roles of managers, evolve, blah, blah, blah. You did that in Unit 1. Take some of that information from Unit 1. Throw it in here. Add to it. Look at new resources. Look at some of the new management theories that are coming out today. One I just talked about with engagement. That is a newer theory. That is something you can talk about. You can talk about social responsibility. You can talk about anything. It's pretty broad. So that one. Second one, we're going to talk about transformational leadership and leaders who have a regular and say pseudo. Okay, that's what they're saying. Because I would have gone with something a little different there, but that's all right because I didn't read the question. So we're going to talk about transformational leadership here. Transformational leaders are people who lead through vision and engagement. Now, when we talk about a regular transformational leader, the word regular is kind of weird. Let's talk about a I'm trying to come up with a word for like someone who is to be recognized for their good work. And my brain is not working at this moment for that. But anyway, a transformational leader who meets the definition in a positive way, a positive transformational leader, simple word. Someone, so let's say Mother Teresa, or let's say Nelson Mandela. They would be positive transformational leaders. A pseudo-transformational leader is someone who has the opposite leadership style. They are transformational. People follow them, but they lead people down the wrong path. And the person that usually comes to mind is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a pseudo-transformational leader. You got to remember what was happening. This is your short history lesson. What was happening in Germany when Hitler came in and took over power. Germany did not recover well from World War I. And on the heels of World War I, we had the Depression. So what you had was, there was no food, there was no money, there was nothing. The German people were dying, literally dying in poverty and starvation. And Hitler came in and he rallied the German people together, telling them that he could provide them with a solution to their problems. And he started building up the government, he started building coalitions, he started building things. But then what did he do? He blamed all of Germany's ills on the Jews, on the Catholics, on the non-Aryans, on people of color, of anyone who was not a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, very fair-skinned European. So he had a vision that he showed, but it was detrimental and horrid in that 6 million people died directly, at least 6 million people died in the concentration camps and in the gas chambers, or they were just shot down, mowed down. Same thing happened in Russia. If you guys need to be a student of history, happened in Russia where the Bolsheviks, the Bolshevik Revolution of 1918, where the people of Russia was starving, and yet the royalty was living in grandeur. So they rounded up, and if you've seen Anastasia, you know, and Anastasia died. She did die in that basement. She died. The cartoon, not right, Anastasia died. Well, they rounded up all of the family and brought them down to the royal family, brought them down to the basement, and they thought that they were getting a picture taken, and they put them in a little group, and the soldiers pulled out a gun and killed them all. So at the same time in World War I, you had Woodrow Wilson as the president who was rallying the country together, and he put together the League of Nations. All right, that's your history for today. I'm rambling on history. So I just wanted you guys to understand that. Now, the $64,000 question you guys always have, how long should this paper be? I'm going to give you an answer because I know some instructors would say, long enough to cover your topic. That's not an answer, not an answer. My answer to this is, I want to see at least a page and a half to 2 pages for each question. So when you turn it all in, with the question counting in it, I should have 4 to 4.5 to 5 pages total from you. So that's what we have, because remember, this is also, when you look at the distribution of the work, you have 1 discussion question this week, and then you have this assignment. So you've got to compensate, you know, kind of wiggle it around a little bit, compensate for what we're doing here. All right. So that we have enough engagement and enough work for a week, because it's got to be academic. Department of Education wants to see that. Trust me. For those of you who have student loans, it's important. Anyway, there's a reason for everything, not just because we feel like doing something. Anyway, again, the Unit 3 papers. Y'all excuse me. This isolation business, you can tell it's getting to me. I'm starting just, Anyway, Unit 3 papers. I'm going to return them by the middle of the week. I'm going to give you feedback. If you're off course and you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you to put you back on course, call me. If you got questions about it, call me. Anything, call me. Phone, call me. 504-453-2894. Call me. I want to walk you through it. I want to make sure you understand. So with that being said, I am getting ready to drink some more of my mimosa. And then I'm going to work some more on my paper crafting, and I'm going to look at your message boards. So you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I hope the weather is beautiful there as it is here, and I'm just dying to get in the swimming pool, but I can't. Y'all take care. And again, if you need anything, stay in touch with me, please. All right, you guys take care. Bye.